It's Thursday, so you know what time it is. 2:00 is
2:00.
the MiamiHal Real Estate Show. It's actually Hal and Jav. It's our edition today, and both of us
on time.
on time. Yeah,
Got here on
both
time.
of us have been incredibly busy, so we really haven't reviewed what we're going to do on the show today.
We're winging it.
So I'm going to rely on our old standard, which is, what did you learn this week in real estate?
What do we learn in real estate? I think one of the things that we should talk about very quickly, and
Sure.
one of the things is what's going on in Ukraine.
Okay.
And an invasion, and I think we have to have a certain feeling for all the folks out there that are suffering from it, and I think that's one of the biggest topics that's going to dominate our real estate market and the market for some time initially. But aside from that, what I learned from real estate is that it's still crazy out there, and also how the new Fannie and Freddie rates are affecting condo markets and the condo market. So I think that's something we should talk about.
We're definitely going to get to both of those. And echoing your sentiment about what's going on in Ukraine is that, these are governments and the people underneath them, you have to just feel for them and be with them.
For sure.
Because listen, we're Americans, right? There are people from how many countries? Hundreds of countries out there, right?
I'm from one.
Okay, you're from another one.
I'm from
as
a communist country.
And so, most of the time, the people really are not at any level to understand nor participate in what their government is doing for them.
Yeah, and we're going to have that.
Is what it is,
Yeah,
but
it's going to
affect the entire world.
For sure.
And we're going to speculate a little bit as to how it's going to affect the Miami real estate market.
Yeah, for sure.
And the second thing you wanted to talk about was the condo market, but I'm talking about a specific thing you learned from this week's goings on in your real estate business.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen recently is that everyone is crazy.
I believe that, and when the market is crazy, it brings out
Everybody
the level
gets
of crazy.
crazier. Yeah.
Agreed.
So what I learned the other day, and I'm starting to see that this is funny. I went to an open house in Miami Springs, and they literally at the door had a QR code where you had to take a picture, and that's how you were checking in. And there were about 65, 70 people. This is a $700,000 listing.
I'm going to applaud this. This is great. So tell me, you check in by hitting the QR code.
So,
and what does that do? Put you in a line?
Yeah, puts you in the line.
Did you actually get on your screen your 7th in line?
Or
no,
we didn't stay.
Oh.
I basically took a picture and said, I'm not going to, this is 60 people here. And then I went to one in Palmetto Bay the other day that had the same kind of line. That one was a little bit more like, a kindergarten. Everybody lines up behind each other, and then everybody says that you're next, I'm next, whatever.
Wow.
And so I think that was interesting, but it's still out there. That insane, I'm going out on Saturday for another Miami Springs, and it's 2 open houses, and God knows what I'm going to find.
I'm going to dig a little bit deeper because I love where you just went, which is in normal times when you're working with a buyer.
Right.
It's often just you as a buyer and the seller having a chance to decide if they can negotiate and get close enough on the table.
Sure.
So it's a 50-50 shot. Hey, I'm interested in your house. I know you're interested in selling. Can we get this to work? 50-50, right? You're going to get a contract or you're not.
Right.
Now you go out to an open house where you see 60 people in front of you.
We're walking.
And you're walking because your percentage is below 2% that you even have a chance to have an audience with that seller, and then whether or not you can get a deal done.
And again, it's either you're going to be paying more than what the market's going to bear, and then if you're a finance deal, it becomes even more complicated because you're going to be up against cash deals or deals that are going over. I mean, again, we've always talked about managing expectations of clients. I think that's one of the things that you do is that you already have that in place for the client to know. And it was actually the client that says, we can go.
Right.
And we just, turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
So I think it's how you prep people and how you, understand this market and what we're going through. But it's just, I thought maybe we'd get a little bit of a lull or something. Nada.
Speaking of that, I'm going to turn to not this past weekend, but the weekend prior, Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
I had a new listing and put it in on the prior Thursday. And then I said, listen, no showings at all to agents, brokers, anything, but we are going to have an open house, and it's going to be both Saturday and Sunday between these times. And I knew that I'd
Yeah.
have a rush of people. Now
Mhm.
we did it Saturday and Sunday because Super Bowl Sunday was Sunday.
Sure.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to not only bring myself to that open house, but I'm going to bring some help
Right.
because I knew there was going to be a line.
Yeah.
Any ideas? This is, by the way, in Coral Terrace.
Okay.
We have an approximate $700,000 listing,
Right.
a little bit below that, but I knew it was going to get some offers above. And so how many people showed up and I don't mean people, I mean families. How many different potential buyers showed up on Saturday?
I'm going to call maybe 25.
62.
62.
Yeah.
Coral
That
Terrace.
was
Coral
kind
Terrace.
of, I ran a marathon inside
I'm
the
sure,
house. I
I'm
never
sure.
stopped walking
I'm
and
sure.
running. So I said, thank you to everybody that came.
Yeah.
I said, thank you to the helpers that I had. And then I said, listen, Sunday, all the agents scheduled
Right.
during the open house on a Saturday. And I said, listen, for Sunday, there'll still be some people that'll come out, but it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'll handle it myself.
Right.
How many people came out on
Bad
Sunday?
move.
That's correct. It was another bad move. I expected maybe a dozen
Yeah.
would come out on Sunday.
Yeah.
That was, I lost count, somewhere in the 40s.
It's
So over 2 days,
100 people.
100 different families came out looking to buy that house.
I had a rental that we took 80 showings. A rental.
I know. This is insanity. But it goes back to the percentages where you used to have a 50%
Yeah.
chance of buying what you wanted.
Mhm.
You have a less than 1% chance on my listing
Sure.
to even be heard by the seller.
Right. Yeah.
So this is the market we're in.
Yeah.
And so it takes different guts
Yeah.
and mentality to be successful.
Yeah.
So I know you're doing it and I'm doing it in my way. And I
Right.
bet you we're approaching this a little bit differently, but you basically have to train somebody like they're a marathon runner to get in this game. I've got
Yeah.
a couple of buyers that I'm working with now, and they've been unsuccessful for several attempts at purchasing
Right.
something. And you watch them suffer, and
Yeah.
you don't ever want to see anybody
Yeah.
suffer, especially a client of yours. But that's what's happening.
Yeah, it is just like I said, I just prepare them for what is going to happen, what's going to be out there, because that's the only thing we can really do.
Yeah.
And then also know when you have a shot. There's times that going in that you may have a chance at it.
Yeah.
And then there's other times when you just know that, there's no way, because the property sits a certain way, or the property has a certain dynamic, and you know that you're going to be, just beat out.
All right, you got to ask me the same question back, right?
Yes, I am.
And-
What did you learn this week
What did I learn
specifically? Yes.
And it's related to the same conversation we had. Often through most markets, I tell people open houses are really not a great idea.
Right.
They're not like, hey, I won't do them.
It used to be for the agents.
But yeah, it's for the agents to kind of chit chat with each other. And typically it's the much older agents that come out to open houses and it's a social gathering.
Yeah.
So I often discourage people from doing open houses. And right now it's 100% the opposite way.
Yeah.
If you have a house that you want to sell, the best thing that you can do is to determine when you're going to have that flood of people. Get out for a couple hours, not inconvenience yourself on an individual basis, but just let everybody line up outside the house, get it done, and get a bunch of offers within literally a couple of hours.
We're getting offers prior to even doing the opens. Like you're already getting offers coming in.
Let's talk about how agents should be handling things like that, because I've got a particular theory and methodology that I use. When I had this listing we were just talking about, I said in the MLS in several different places, one that was publicly available, hey, we're not showing until this Saturday, and we're not accepting any offers until this Saturday.
Right.
And then I put it into the private area where only brokers and agents talk to each other. And then in the showing request system, a lot of people out there, they may not know, but agents kind of talk to each other through another system to schedule the actual appointment. And what we did there is, as they said, I want, Friday at 1, not listening to the other instructions.
Exactly.
It says, if you schedule during a time where I haven't told you that we're allowing it, I will not allow you to see the house. I mean, I was much a jerk in that system.
We've got agents out there that are saying that if you don't show up with your agent, the agent won't get credit for it. I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's like
you
the
can't
sellers.
you can't do that.
The
But
sellers are becoming special words.
yes,
And the agents are doing the same
They're
thing.
they're getting cocky out there. I'll tell you that right now. When reality rears its ugly head, it's going to be
like
payback.
the QR code thing because that's not being cocky. That is somebody that is trying to apply technology to really handle what has never happened before.
Yeah, but I think if you're going to get into that, so I'll give you another thing about that. So you have a bunch of people loitering in an 80-degree sun.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do this kind of thing where you're only going to run one person through the house at a time, and you're expecting a lot of people, have some type, we went to one, they had refreshments, but there's no protection against, the weather. Right. It's almost I almost feel like we're going to get to the point where you're going to have a restaurant, like, they give you those little beepers and they say, here, sit in your car, and then we'll beep you when you come in. And I think it's become a new marketing strategy that everybody is doing, just open houses. You don't even need to do like the old school showings that you could show on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, whatever. You just say, listen, first showing Saturday, everybody piles up. And then what I do with the show assist is I actually block it out so that they can't do it. Yeah. So that even if they wanted to go in there, they can't do it. But yeah, you're always going to get the agents that are going to try to, get in there a little bit quicker.
And do you have any buyers that you're working with where they're willing to put in an offer sight unseen?
No,
are you seeing that?
I won't do that.
Okay. You won't do that, but are they saying, hey, I'm
no, because again, you're educating them up on the front.
Good.
So it's just how you manage the expectation. I harp on that all the time. Manage the expectations, so that way the clients don't feel like that they're being played. And I think that's one of the key elements.
Absolutely.
So,
I was remiss whenever we do our show together. Jav and I would love to answer your questions. So get on whatever social media platform you're on. You got that little box. You're waiting with your keyboard. I know, or swiping your finger.
Yeah, right.
Get us some questions. We'll definitely answer those today.
I'll make up some great
we're
answers.
Making this up as we go along today.
This is on the fly today. So yeah.
You had mentioned another topic, which is how the condo market may be changing for us. So
I really believe that. Yeah, it is. What the Herald had a great article on it a couple days ago. Andres did a really nice in-depth dive into it, and I think a lot of folks didn't realize, and we're going this with a client of ours, that we've always understood that it's been 10% of reserves that usually are protected. So if you have 10% in your reserves, some of the condo questions are a little bit easier. And then we were seeing, I kept getting pressure on the fact that it had to be 10% of the budget, of the actual monthly budget.
A monthly budget.
So in this particular case, the monthly income was about $2.4 million. So now
pretty large condo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Fannie and Freddie are saying you've got to put 10% away monthly. So all of a sudden, you've got to up that reserve, where they were putting a nice chunk away. They were putting $138,000 monthly away. That's pretty good for a reserve account.
Yeah.
Fannie and Freddie now say they want to take it to 10%, $240,000. So it's almost $100K more than what they were putting away. So the budget would have to go up.
And I didn't get a chance because I was very busy the last week or so. I was getting married.
Yeah, I know. I heard you got married. I'm not going to go there though. Show them the ring. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yes, and the bolt is going right.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing that I didn't read, and I'm sure you're going to tell me about it, is at some point when your reserves are healthy enough, you don't have to continue to put into.
No, it's going to be all the time. It's going to be all the time because Freddie and Fannie are saying that they have to have that in there. It's not the 10% that you always had before, or one of the limits. So that's one of the things that came.
You just continue to build your reserves regardless. You
yeah,
put 10% in per month.
Yeah, that's what's at. Well, that's where it's at right now.
Wow.
I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, it's all because of Surfside. You know what happened in Surfside? A lot of the condominiums don't have any reserves. So, and it's also when you look at it, it's also now that any legal aspect. So if you have anything that is a construction component in your assessments, that they want to know everything about it, why, where, and how it's going to be used. And I think those are the reasons that I think the market it's going to be very difficult to finance. I only know of one company right now that's financing.
So
unless
there are big changes coming.
Yeah, I think
I
think so.
Several sides of this issue. I'll tell you one thing that has always annoyed me a bit. You're working with buyers or sellers, and information needs to come from the condo association to that buyer about financials, about this. And there's this thing called the internet. where you can have an application for that condo, and you can have the financial information publicly available, and you can have the board meeting minutes on that website, so people don't have to start finding out if Susie is available and back from lunch, and that she might respond to your email. These are things that are already required by Florida law. And what percentage of condos do you believe are actually following that?
I will tell you, the ones that I've been dealing with lately, none. Because you can't, okay, so part of our contracts is a condo addendum.
Right.
All right, the condo addendum says that you got to get your condo docs out. So most of them, some of them will be online. When I request them, I don't even get like here, go look at this page. No, we can't give them to you. I mean, you can't give them to me. No, the owner has to give them to you. So I have to go to the owner. The owner has never seen their condo docs because that's common practice. They haven't even know what their budget is. They just basically know that they're paying $500 a month to their maintenance fee, and that's it.
And
where it's going,
forget about it.
Where it's going,
I
got things to do.
I live here. I know
busy.
I owe you $500, but I don't.
They don't know that they may have 3 associations.
Right.
And then when we as agents try to get this information down, I try to tell all my clients that, listen, let's get this ahead of time so that we are prepared for it. It's like pulling teeth. The other day I was working with another condo in another building, and it's like I'm at the association saying, guys, do we have 10%? And can you show me something? No. The other one that we were working with, we had to call the legal, and the guy says, I should be charging you $450 for this information. I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, we're trying to sell something for your client in your building.
And it benefits the overall association because it's owned by the owners in this complex. So
it's incredible out there. And I just don't see that getting any better, but we'll see what happens.
So if they're going to extract, and maybe that's the wrong word, if they're going to demand 10% be put into reserves, which I think
that's just from the financing aspect.
I understand that, but something does have to be done because a lot of buildings can't do the repairs they need to. They just can't.
Oh, and they can't.
So this will guide them into a financial position where they should be able to do that more readily, right? That's a good thing.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it's so heavy-handed at the percentage, et cetera, but it's a good thing to get these condo associations financially healthy.
No, for sure. That's for sure. But again, you're just if Fannie and Freddie aren't backing these loans, or they're back only loans that are certain qualifications, then I think the market itself is just going to suffer naturally simply because you won't be able to get any loans.
So pricing will have to come down,
or
to make that more affordable,
or
right?
worse,
or what?
Worse, they don't get sold.
Right.
People stay in them, and then we get the same thing that we have right now. It's paralysis by analysis. We have people that want to sell. They have nowhere to go. Unless they're going to be out of here.
And another facet is if you need 10% in reserves, there's pressure to change the amount of monthly maintenance to begin with, right? Yeah. And so then the question becomes, people that have been established in that condo for many years are used to a certain level of payments. Yeah, they go up every year or every couple of years, but not in the leaps and bounds that are going to be coming out of this legislation.
Right. Yeah.
So where do those people go?
No.
And if they can't sell, we're creating
there's a lot. There's a lot of components in this in that decision. And again, we don't realize it because we're out. Well, no, let me say we do realize it because we're out on the field. But most of the folks don't understand that these are things that happen that do affect certain market rates. So we'll see what happens.
This is big stuff coming to our market.
Oh yeah.
So there's some level of pressure on the condo market. Let's get into another thing you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and that is Ukraine.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to get into the politics of that. We're not going to get into, we're only first finding out today what's really starting to happen there. But any negative news, and in fact, anticipation of negative news affects the stock market. We've already seen that. What happens to our local real estate market, even if, somebody isn't involved in that at all?
Right.
Well, how does it affect their property?
So far, I don't see anything, coming down outside of if you are a heavy hitter and you take a huge hit on the market, you may not buy it. You may not be as apt to buy or want to buy until it shakes out. So it could slow down, but at the end, at our level, that mid-level, entry level, all of that, it's, when I ran for politics, I remember one thing that I learned very quickly is everybody just wanted to see what was around them. Big picture wasn't one of the big things.
Interesting.
So it was everything like, I remember knocking on doors and I said, what can I do? And they say, pick up the dog poop, get rid of the peacocks. Can you, get rid of that rooster? And it wasn't, global warming. That just wasn't,
So it's what's in my backyard, not much further.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. And I think that's a Miami thing.
But I actually, I don't know if it's just Miami, but this is interesting. Let's take a little bit further. Mm-hmm. Let's go a little further down the road here. And so, what I want to talk now about is, okay, if you're thinking about your backyard, mm-hmm. yet the cost of milk in your backyard, the cost of meat in your backyard, mm-hmm. the cost of putting fuel in your car in your backyard continues to escalate at these mm-hmm. double-digit numbers that mm-hmm. we're starting to see. Even if you're not in the stock market, doesn't this affect your ability to move? Yeah,
of course it does, because you're already set in a certain budget, and the more that we take out of that budget, the less there is to be able to move and to be able to or buy crypto. That's going to really go down.
You want to talk a little crypto?
Oh, heck no.
You've got all the buzzwords here. I know what you feel about crypto, but you got a QR code running around the Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a stadium named after crypto.com stadium.
Yeah, we had a Miami coin that tanked, and the city of Miami was the one that backed it. So don't get me started on that one. So
you're not going to go into the politics.
No, we're not going to go into the politics on that one. I know that
I will kick you under the table.
Yeah, kick me under the table. So okay, but I do want to talk something about that is happening.
Yeah,
and it's a big deal. It's a big deal, especially for Coconut Grove. So every 10 years, the census comes out, and by law, you have to redistrict. You have to basically even out the areas or the districts in your communities. So City of Miami has 5 districts. So the 5 districts we have about 460,000 residents in the city of Miami. And again, I think this gets complicated. I'm going to divert real quick, but Miami-Dade County is the county aspect of it. There's 13 commissioners in the county, but there's municipalities within those counties. Coral Gables is one, City of Miami, Pinecrest, Key Biscayne. Those are municipalities. And then when you hear the word unincorporated Miami-Dade County, that's something that doesn't have a municipality. One of the easiest ones to find, and most people don't know that, is that little High Pines section where actually High Pines is a Miami-Dade County. Coral Gables have been trying to annex for a while, and eventually it will. But I think in our municipality, the city of Miami, we have 5 commissioners, 1 mayor, and you have about 460,000. So it happens every 10 years. They do a census, and they look at it and see where the population growth has been. So in our case, District 2, which is part of Coconut Grove, and also all of the Brickell and Biscayne, all this back up in here, obviously the population growth has been in the big buildings.
Right.
So the District 2 it came in higher by about 35,000 residents. So now they have to take it and start to split the districts and kind of redistrict to balance them out. So they want to get to like about 89,000. So everybody evens up. Right. So one of the things that was proposed, and it's just proposed at the moment, but they were going to break up Coconut Grove. They were going to give District 4 part of Coconut Grove, and they were going to give another district another chunk of Coconut Grove. And then again, in Coconut Grove, everybody went nuts. So everybody's going crazy. And, we have one
grove. You got your Home Depot. What else do you want?
Right. You know what? And that Home Depot, let me tell you, that was a battle. But again, I think at the end, we lose the Home Depot. The Home Depot goes to District 4. So we don't even have that anymore. So, and at one time, Vizcaya was broken up into 2 districts. Like the Vizcaya.
You're kidding.
No, they had broken it up into 2 districts, just simply because one was on one side of the road and the other's on the other side of the road.
Okay.
So it's just been, again, how government affects, real estate and how it affects populations. This is a good example of what's happening. So there's a meeting tomorrow, and then there's a final decision on the 11th, but it will affect every district within the city of Miami. And one of the points that I've tried to make to some of the folks out there is that I hope they're projecting future growth, because District 2 is not going to grow as fast as 5 or 1 or 3, because that's just where the new construction is going to go. We know that because that's what we see.
We know where the cranes are going to be.
Yeah, so you know that the cranes are going to be there. So all of a sudden you're saying you're trying to do this for 10 years out, anticipate the fact that District 2 isn't going to be. So that's something that's going to be out there, and you're going to hear about it, and it'll be in the press pretty soon, in the paper and all that good noise. So
one of the things that agents do between each other is there's the multiple listing service, and I do mean, by the way, agents within the same office.
Right.
Is that, you know, we're looking for our clients for different types of properties, and right now I'm looking for a couple people. Yeah, you got anything that's coming up that you can talk about generically? I know you can't mention addresses.
Here's the thing, I do, but we can't put it on the market.
Right.
Yeah, I have 5 or 6 places that would love to sell. They just don't go. They don't have anywhere to go.
Now, do they ever? The reason is they have nowhere to go.
And these are families. This isn't investment properties or anything like that. These are actual. usually we would see most
It's the real estate we like to do.
Yeah.
Families, not somebody trying to fix and flip and stuff.
No.
I mean, we do that too, but
that's not my.
The job is, at least for me, the job is more than just making the living.
Yeah.
It's trying to help families.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that you feel that too.
For sure. And I think that's one of the key elements. And I think that's what makes good agents. You don't go for the quick kills. But I think the only place that we're going to be seeing any kind of movement or new inventories on the rental market, because as these properties grow to a certain, profit margin for the landlords, they may be compelled to sell and put these things back in the market pool.
You were saying earlier, I hope I got the number right. 80 people were going after the same rental.
We had a rental. It was we had 80 showing requests.
Wow.
80.
How did that work out? Because I mean, we're always talking about the sale of homes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about rental, because that was
the rent. It ended up going to someone that was in the building and was already approved.
Well,
and
it was a slam dunk.
It was the landlord.
There's a chance that if you're moving into a building, that they might be denied the opportunity to come in there.
Yeah, this particular client was they were moving because the property had been sold, so their lease was coming up, and then we just flipped them into the building, and that was an easier one, because if not, you imagine presenting, and I hate to get into that highest and best, because I just don't. I think everybody's feeling they're being played, so I tell everybody now, listen, just come in with your best offer. And your best offer, we'll look at it and see what works but at the end of the day, and this is something that people don't understand too, we can say a lot of things, we can talk a lot of, as we're trying to maneuver the transaction, but at the end of the day, it's the seller's decision. At the end of the day, it's the landlord's decision. We can try to massage it, kind of give it some guidance, but at the end of the day, if this person says, that's a person I want, that's a person you want.
And it is, unfortunate for a lot of people, because they don't get the property that they want. But you're absolutely right. And I have to tell you, everybody has a personality.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you don't completely align with your seller or landlord, you could be, as an agent, you could be in for a surprise. Oh, it's like, here's an offer for 300, and here's an offer for 450, and it's cash, and they might take the 300. You're like, scratch your head, like, what is going on? I mean, that's an extreme, but it happens like that once in a while.
Absolutely. Or somebody's never going to be happy, even though you did, the right thing.
Advice for anybody out there that's looking to sell. What would you tell somebody that's looking to sell a standard family home right now? Get on the market or wait it out? No,
I would get it on the market. Okay. As long as you have somewhere to go.
Top reason?
Because of the market, the amount of money, and also
you know what the market is today. You don't know what it is tomorrow.
Exactly. So just right now, we have the largest land war that just happened in Europe. That wasn't yesterday. So today we know what's here today. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
So advice to somebody that's going to be a buyer with you.
Patience.
Do they do something now, or do they do something later?
Just patience. You do. It doesn't matter. I don't see this market going down. I thought that there was going to be a little bit of a downturn, but I don't see it.
I was, and I still am there. Why do you say that you don't see it now? What changed?
We just don't have anything new. And it's just stagnant. So we can't put out more product, because for the reason we just talked about. So I have 5 sellers. Those 5 sellers would be 5 buyers. But you did your showing. You had 100 people there?
A little over 100.
That's 100 buyers out there.
Right.
That aren't yours. 100 buyers out there.
Correct.
In Miami Springs, we had 60. Only one got the house. So that's 59 buyers out there. So now we have 159 buyers, and there's no inventory for it. And we can't call China and say, hi, China, we need 100 houses. It doesn't happen.
They'll deliver
if they can. It may be all screwy and have Chinese drywall and all that stuff, but still. But the whole point is we can't.
We call that defective drywall.
Defective.
You know
okay,
that,
sorry
right?
about that.
Okay, thank you.
So
in our primary bedrooms.
in primary bedroom, exactly.
Okay.
We can't call them that anymore.
That's an inside real estate.
That's an
joke.
inside real estate joke. But I think what's happened is the demand will outpace. Doesn't matter if everything went right now. We started putting market properties on the market. It's going to take us years just to satisfy
that
what's out there.
Wow. Well, if you want to do something successful in real estate, I hope that you believe
Go to
that
Iowa.
You're looking, go to Iowa.
Go to Iowa.
I hope that you believe one of the two of us can help you. Hav, why don't you tell people how to get in touch with you?
It's real easy. 305-582-5085 since 1986. If you're a scammer, there's my number. Have at it.
We have enough of those. Please don't call my number, which the scammers, that is.
Yes.
I'm at 786-693-2005. Both of us have great websites, and it really comes down to a personality match. So if you like Hav, please give him a call, buyer or seller. This guy can take care of you.
Thank you.
We're friends because we trust and know each other at a business level, and we know that either one of us can do a great job, right?
Call Hal.
Thank you. And that'll do it. Until next
right.
week, have a great week in real estate. Give us a call.
Have a great weekend, guys. Be well.